This guy seemed to have it all. People in this town wanted to be like him. And then I got to know him and I realized things aren't always what they seem. When I lived in Maryland, I met this guy in my gym. He was a little older than me. I was 20 something, he was 30 something. I just got out of the military and I moved to Maryland. I was trying to start a new life, my civilian life, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, make money, get an apartment, and, become a regular person. I just left Afghanistan where I didn't really feel much like a regular person. So I was trying to make friends. And everyone around town kind of knew this guy, this dude from my gym. He seemed like he had it all. People wanted to be like him. But there was something really, really strange about him. So this guy drove a really expensive car. He had a Mercedes convertible. It was an SLK. They stopped making it, I think, a long time ago. This was a really cool car to have at the time. He drove a Lincoln Navigator. He had a Range Rover. He had all these really expensive cars that he drove. He didn't work. He had no job. 30, 32, I think he was. Maybe he was a little older than that. Had no job. His father had a company. They used to make class rings. Herff Jones, I want to say. I don't know if that name rings a bell with any of you watching this. So he quote unquote worked for his dad. I think he was the vice president of his father's company. His father paid him a big fat salary. He had a little trust fund to go with it. But he didn't work. He didn't do anything. He would work out at the gym. And then I have no idea what he would do after that. But he lived in a nice, brand new house, new construction. Like I said, he drove really expensive cars. But there was something, again, really strange about this guy. And here's what it was. With all that stuff, and everybody in this small town I lived in knowing who he was, he had no friends. He didn't have any friends. Everybody knew him, but he wasn't friends with anyone. Then I met this girl who kind of laid it all out for me. She said, "You're right. Everybody knows who he is, but he doesn't, go out in town. He's doesn't really have a social life. Nobody talks to him outside of the gym." She said she went on a date with him, and talking to him was like talking to wallpaper. And she made it pretty clear to me. Because he didn't work, because he's never had a job, he's not in the sports, he was never part of any team. It's not like he was a military person. He was never part of any group. He was never part of some kind of collective. Even in an office, you have coworkers. He never had any of that. She said, he just has no personality. She said, I couldn't talk to him about anything. He had no stories. He had nothing to say. There was nothing to him because he didn't experience anything in life. Things aren't always what they seem on the outside. Today, people get on social media and they compare themselves to everyone. But you have no idea how these people got to where they are in life. You don't know anything about their background, their experiences, what shapes them, what's in here, what's in here. You don't know any of that. You just see the outside or what they put up on social media, which oftentimes is complete crap. And this guy was a perfect example of that. On the outside, had money. He didn't have a job. He didn't have to work. He drove nice cars. He lived in a brand new house. Everybody knew who he was. Everyone thought, I want to be like him. But truthfully, if they got to know him, nobody would ever want to be like him because there's nothing to him. There is no personality. There is no storytelling. There is no BSing with your buddies. He didn't have any of that. That was the first time I ever met somebody where I in some ways compared myself to him because I just got out of the military and I'm looking to start my life and I see this guy, meet this guy who seems to have everything and I want to know more. And then I find out the truth behind it and I think to myself, the last thing I want to emulate is this guy's life. The last person I want to be is this guy. So it brings me to my main point here, which is don't compare yourself to others. Never think you know someone just because of what you see on Instagram. You don't know anything about them in real life. You know a persona they're putting out there on social media. Who knows who the person really is? I made a mistake by comparing myself to him, one that I've tried not to ever make again in my life. It can be difficult comparing yourself to other people. You gotta avoid doing that. You gotta focus on yourself and your own mission in life. Follow your own path. This guy was very sad because he's never been challenged before. And on the outside, that might sound like a good thing. On the surface, to have money, to have no job. But the thing is, if you've never been challenged, how are you ever going to know what you're capable of?